On this episode of Travelogue, we're going to visit the ancient city of Guangzhou, brave enough to taste the local delicacy of chicken feet, to see the largest Gothic cathedral in all of East Asia, marvel at the mythical statue of the 5 goats, and skip to the fabulous natural parks in the south of China. All this and more on today's episode of Travelogue. The capital city of Guangdong Province, Guangzhou, has a couple of nicknames. Most of the world already knows it as Canton, and the Chinese know it as Yangcheng, the Goat City. I've heard plenty about its exotic foods, interesting buildings, and hot weather. Welcome to Travelogue, I'm Chelsea, and now it's time to explore Guangzhou. Why is Guangzhou named the Goat City? Legend has it that a long time ago, 5 saints riding 5 heavenly goats with wheat in their mouths came to Guangzhou. The saints rewarded the local people with the wheat, blessing them with eternal prosperity and abundance. And so Guangzhou became known as the Goat City. Yuexiu Park is the largest park in downtown Guangzhou. Sprawling across 860,000 square meters, the park is made up of 3 artificial lakes and 7 hills of Yuexiu Mountain. I had a great teacher here today. She knows all the moves. The newest hot moves here in Canton. This is where it's at. Check out the feet. At the crack of dawn, people flock to Yuexiu Park to start the day off right with their daily morning exercise. Everything from badminton, group aerobics, martial arts, and even the Chinese version of hacky sack. Although their interpretation is a little bit different, the basic principle is the same. Keep it in the air. It's a penalty I pay. We're missing it. Guangzhou is one of the 5 national central cities. Located in southern China on the Pearl River, about 120 kilometers northwest of Hong Kong, Guangzhou is a key transportation hub and trading port. A whopping 14 million people live in this huge city divided up into 12 suburbs. Western visitors to China sometimes ask, where is Canton? For many foreigners, Canton is Guangzhou City. But Canton has also been confused with the province of Guangdong, a blunder among English speakers inherited from the old times. It's believed that when the first European settlers, the Portuguese, arrived, they named the city as Canton, derived from Guangdong province. To make things simple, Canton is Guangzhou City, and Guangzhou City is in Guangdong. Hidden in the downtown of Guangzhou holds the hugest cathedral in all of Asia, the Sacred Heart Cathedral. This massive structure was built in 1863, all by hand. China accommodates for all types of religions and languages, but for the Catholic religion, this was the birthplace in China. Because in the earliest history, the only place foreigners could enter the mainland was through Guangzhou. At the facade, it's hard to imagine this all-granite structure was constructed entirely by hand. Venturing into this Roman Catholic cathedral, into its majestic arches and vaults, lit through the stained glass windows, is a journey into history. Another great thing about the Sacred Heart Cathedral is that it's like most churches around the world. It's free. One thing to remember, if you want to see the inside of the cathedral, it's closed from 11:30 to 2:30. But not to worry, outside there's plenty to see. For example, the special touch of the Chinese stone lions. Guangzhou is subtropical. The average year-round temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. The rainy season falls between April and August. This also, by the way, is typhoon season. The best time to visit Guangzhou is between October and December. My personal tip is to bring an umbrella on your visit because the rain here goes and comes in spurts and you just never know when it's going to come down. We now venture into Old Guangzhou, also known as Liwan District, to the Shamian Island. It's filled not with Chinese buildings, but with Western architecture. During the Qing Dynasty, Shamian Island was divided into the British and French concessions and was a small European enclave. Today, many Victorian-style villas and other Western-style buildings survive here. Located right beside the Pearl River is the Shamian Island. It's not actually an island, but in Chinese means sandbank. And right now it's already connected to the rest of the city by several bridges. And from the mid-18th century to the mid-19th century, this is the only place where foreign merchants were allowed to live. Of course, these days, you can roam around freely in Guangzhou. If you have trouble finding it, don't worry, because it's located conveniently beside the White Swan Hotel. Because of its beautiful environment, Shamian Island has become a popular backdrop for photos, particularly wedding photos. But the island has even more to offer in the way of new families. Since the turn of the millennium, Shamian Island has become well known for the many Western couples seeking to adopt Chinese babies and children. Shamian Island covers an area of only 0.3 square kilometers and is separated from the mainland by a small canal. Even though it's located inside the city, it's a perfect place to get some peace and rest. Enjoy the sound of silence and leave the city without really leaving the city. 还记得吗？记得吗？那是哪里？我们考街的一个地方。哦，我知道了。这很多靓女高中我是看中它。Living in a hot and damp climate 365 days a year, the people of Guangzhou have well-adapted lifestyles. In Guangzhou, there's a specific type of architecture called qilo, which are more or less arcades. The shape of these arcades mimic the front legs of a horse, forming an inverted U shape. The arcade covers the sidewalk so people are always protected from the rain and sun. Qilo arcades can be found in the Liwan district of Guangzhou and many of the other old districts.
立食通茶。
什么？
立食通。
鸡食汤. Oh, this tea is called 鸡食汤. I don't know how to say in English. Let's check it out. Whoa!
很苦吗？
好苦啊！
这个是3颗下去一点苦，等一下10分钟你就是甘甜的喉咙。
Oh, after 10 minutes, I'll be cured. When traveling around China, one important thing to note is, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, especially when it comes to eating and drinking. For example, this tea will help replenish your body as you slowly adapt to Guangzhou's weather. Always be open to try new things. The primary language in Guangzhou is Cantonese. It's considered a prestigious dialect, so if you want to learn it in its purest form, Guangzhou is the place to be. However, Standard Mandarin, or Putonghua, is also widely spoken here due to the influx of migrants. As with elsewhere in China, Standard Mandarin is the only language used in schools, so it's fluently spoken by today's generation in Guangzhou. Even within the fast economically growing city of Guangzhou, there's still a lot of history buried deep within. For example, these buildings here behind me were built by Westerners back in the day. And you know, one thing I've noticed that when you come down to the Dongshan area, there's a lot of one-way streets winding in and about. So the best way, if you want to check out the scenery and all the buildings, come on foot. In 1906, missionaries from the U.S. settled in Dongshan, working, buying homes, and building churches, schools, and hospitals. During the Republic of China period, from 1911 to 1949, some military officers and government officials also began to build villas and mansions here. This gave rise to many exotic-looking and luxurious Western-style buildings. Inside Dongshan, there are schools, residents, stores, and everything needed to support a small community. While wandering through the streets, I unexpectedly stumbled upon an interesting small store. Actually, this is a sign here for you can actually live inside these buildings. If I move to Guangzhou, I'll move here. Actually, oh, hey, this little cat. Hey, meow, meow. Hello, meow. You can find all types of things inside these old buildings. Look at this little store. Although the store doesn't seem to fit me, actually, it's pretty cool. Today we are in luck because the store owner's friend is having a get-together party in a nearby house. Just what we were hoping to see, the typical houses of the Guangzhou area. Oh. Ooh. So where are you taking me? Oh, yeah? Whoa. 3层楼. Oh, exciting. Let's check out what's inside. Oh. Wow. Oh, so this is what the old places are like. Crazy. You look at the roof. Got high roofs. Man, it looks like super people lived here. Huge people. You know, let's go check out, see what else is happening here. There's one room in here. Empty room. Looks like a photo studio in here. I assume it's a photo studio that they're using this for. Man, these old houses really open up your eyes, you know what I'm saying? All right, we come over here. Here's the kitchen. And this room over here should be the place.